Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Victory Lane? Yeah, it's even better with Chumba by my side. Race to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
He's an old head.
Youngins are really starting to get on my damn nerves.
He's a purveyor of nonsense.
Your fault.
He's a Georgia high school coaching job influencer. His favorite Bible verse is, Jesus wept. He's the man of constant sorrow, Chris Lamb.
Yeah.
Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, and today we've got former head coach at Fayette County High School, Griffin High School standout, Georgia Southern superstar, and about to be the strength and conditioning linebacker coach at Lovejoy High School, Nick Davis. Thanks for being with us today, Coach Davis.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man.
Coach Davis was my head coach when I was at Burke County years and years ago, and that didn't sound good. Made it sound like we old, Coach.
Hey, we all.
But Nick was a standout linebacker at Griffin High School. Tell us a little bit about your years at Griffin and who you played for and all that kind of stuff.
Well, I played for Coach Lloyd Bohannon, Brian Bohannon, head coach at Kennesaw State. His father was our head coach. Was very fortunate to be surrounded by a lot of talented players, a lot of guys definitely better than me, more athletic than I was. I was blessed at an early age to be a good leader, study the game and try to do all the little things right to help me become the best player I can be. And was a successful all-state linebacker there and got an opportunity to earn a scholarship to play at Georgia Southern after graduating high school, and was able to win a couple championships there. Was considered All-American player at linebacker at Georgia Southern, and then after that, got into coaching there.
Yeah, I remember. I love sitting around listening to you guys tell stories about playing at Southern, and I remember when you said y'all were playing, you had an interception, and you were running down the field, and you said the guy made siren noises and pulled you over.
Well, the story was it wasn't that player. I like I said, I wasn't very athletic. I was strong. I was had high football IQ. I was the slowest person on our defense. So we got Georgia Southern playing UT Chattanooga, man. I got an interception. I'm running down the sideline, and our corner, Sean Austin, he's from Thomasville. He's at Douglas County High School now. It's just principal. He used to be the defensive coordinator. And he's running beside me, running down the field. They call him the short dog because I was short. He's running down the field, short dog, let's go. And I'm turning around like, man, block somebody because I know somebody finna catch me. The damn running back run me down, man, from behind. Instead of him turning around blocking, he's sitting there laughing, joking, going down the sideline. So we got a kick out of that, man. It was great times. I played with a lot of great guys, man. We won a lot of football games.
Well, a lot of the guys that you played with have gone on to be head coaches at the high school level in the state of Georgia as well, I know.
Yeah, several guys. Of course, we talked about Sean, he coach. He was head coach. Alex Ferrer, offensive lineman, head coach at Lithia, Tapman, recently Tapman County. Franklin Stevens, a very good friend of mine, who's at Burke County now. Won a state championship at Tucker. Paul Carroll, who's was at Howard, Joe Dupree. There's a lot of guys out there. Darius Dawson, he wasn't a head coach, but he was a defense coordinator at Colquitt. He's a principal at Charter School that we played with. So Dan Britt, head coach at Benedictine. So that's a lot of Georgia Southern guys in this chose this profession and who's had a lot of success across this state.
So what was your first high school coaching job?
Burke County was my first high school coaching job, man. I was after I played, I did a little student coaching deal at Porter High School in Statesboro under Linrow. And then I GA'd a year at Georgia Southern with Thomas Spangler with the secondary. And man, I tell you, I was making $500 a month, living in the dorms, and then Coach Mike Hodges, he was on staff. He talked to me, sat me down, and said, "Listen, you go have some opportunities if you want to coach some high school ball." Some guys have called, and so I interviewed at a couple places, and my final decision came between Burke County High School with Mike Fallour and Worth County High School with Bob McAllister. And I ended up choosing Burke County because it was a little bit closer to home, right there by Augusta, so you can live in Augusta and, still have kind of, a limelight life, being a young guy right out of college. And Mike Fallour, man, he was just coming from Tucker. And, it was just a great opportunity, coming out of that situation to be able to join his staff. And, we had a lot of early on success there. And after he transitioned and went to Everett County, I ended up becoming the head coach of Burke County.
And that's where I got hired as a receivers coach and JV guy. And, man, we had a good time. I enjoyed my time there. And I just remember y'all talking about a principal y'all had there that didn't play the radio.
Oh, no, man. When I first got there, man, then Jack Willis. And Mr. Willis, man, it's funny because you see him, he kind of reminded me of Santa Claus, short, chunky guy, silver hair, gray beard, and but he did not play, man. And really, Burke County under his leadership was a blessing and a curse because that's all I knew coming into this profession, how he ran his school, how he did things. And then once you transition to other places, and they're talking about, we can't do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. I've seen it. But he did not play, man. And on my interview, I'll never forget, we were walking, and he stopped in the middle of the commons, and he said, "Coach, I want you to see something in 30 seconds. This bell about to ring, and I want you to tell me what you see." So you can look down each hallway. And when that bell rung, there were no kids. I mean, it would be a bunch of kids just standing right in front of you. And in 30 seconds, man, they were gone. And the only thing you see down the hallway is teachers standing outside their classroom. And that just stuck with me. And he just said, "Coach, it's about setting standards and expectation." And I tell some of the administrators that I work with today, our tardy policy was off the chain. The first tardy, you got a warning. The second tardy, you got detention. Third tardy, you got ISS. And your fourth tardy, every tardy after that, you were suspended until your parent came to the school to meet with the administrator. And that didn't change it. So that was for the whole year. So, he set the tone with that, just his expectations. And I'll tell you a story, you get a kick out of this. Wade Marchand, who's still there, he's the AD now, had a story. He was like, we kind of have our own thing in the gym. The gym always kind of do their own thing. He said, "Coach, we really don't write kids up. We make them do push-ups." And I said, "Okay, all right." So I had a kid come after lunch to class. He was tardy. I made him do push-up. Well, the kid he had come after class late, he kind of didn't too much care for the kid. So he wrote the kid up. And so a couple of days go by, me and Mr. Willis, we sit like eating lunch together, man, just talking, man, having a good time. And as soon as the bell rang, I go to the gym to go to my fifth period class. And he radioed for me to come to the office. I'm like, "What do you want? I mean, we just talking." And I get there, Coach closed the door. I said, "Yes, sir." And, he was like, "Coach, do you understand the tardy policy here at Burke County High School?" I said, "Yes, sir, I do." And he said, "Well, this young man said, Coach Marchman wrote him up, but your student, you made him do push-ups." And I said, "Well, Coach Marchman told me, in the gym, we kind of just make him do push-ups and keep it moving." And he has this nameplate on his desk. He turned around, looked at it, turned around. He said, "Can you tell me what that says?" I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Jack Willis, principal of Burke County High School." He said, "You damn right, I'm the principal of Burke County High School." And he pulls my file out of his desk drawer. He said, "You remember when we signed this contract, when I presented this contract?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, you know, it's easy just as easy for me to tear this bitch up than it is for you. Man, when it was for you to sign it, I said, yes, sir. He said, we're on the same page, loud and clear. So I leave his office. I go to the gym and I tell Coach March, man, don't say another damn thing. Just set me up. So that was my rookie mistake, getting baptized. But Jack Willis, man, he you know, he was just no nonsense. And you knew where you stood. And I appreciated that because, you know, our second year, we played for the state championship. He fired a teacher in the middle of the day. And I just remember him telling, if you're on this campus for 4:30, back on this campus for 4:30, you're going to be, you know, arrested for trespass. You know, after that, you can come get your belongings. And, you know, we laughing and joking. We on duty. And I'll never forget Mike Fuller, like, Mr. Willis, you run fire us. We just played for the state championship. He was like, yeah, if it's the best thing for the institution, I'll fire you today. And we'll have dinner tonight. He said, y'all never take anything else from me. Understand, it's never personal. It's always business. And he was like, my brother's not speaking to me right now. Excuse me. He was like, my brother's not speaking to me at this moment because I didn't hire him for a job. We were like, this was your brother. He said, Coach, he wasn't the best guy for the job. And so that's what I learned at an early age. And so as I transitioned, and really when I came to the metro Atlanta area, I wasn't ready for it because it was totally different.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, I remember y'all telling that story about the teacher getting fired in the middle of the day, and y'all heard it on the radio, and y'all said y'all picked up a broom and started
Yeah.
sweeping.
So, and what was, you know, led into it, the guy was a talker. And in the new teacher orientation, I just remember the stuff he was saying. Mr. Willis looked at him and just said, it's going to be a very interesting year. So I can see that right now. So he gave him a warning. I don't know if the guy caught it, but I caught it. He pretty much was telling him, hey, you need to shut down. And but he just, man, he was hard, but he would do anything for you. We played state championship. We played in the dome. I'll never forget him calling Melissa, my wife, and I'm like, pick up the phone. Let's call ID. I'm like, what, Mr. Willis? He had to speak to Melissa. So I'm sitting there like stuck on stupid. I'm sitting there watching her talk on the phone and she laughing, talking. Man, he rented a limo and took the assistant principal and the coach's wives from Burke County High School to the Georgia Dome. When we played. And, you know, there's just the stuff that he did, man. You know, the Thursday before we played state championship, you know, he bought steaks and had the whole school ate steaks, baked potatoes. And, I mean, he was awesome, man. He was hard-nosed, but he was so loving and caring at the same time, you know. So, you know, that's the first thing I saw from an administrator. So it was very tough for me to move on and see other administrators say what they can and cannot do. They won't do. You know what I'm saying? That you can't do it, you won't. And I know, you know, some guys' hands are tied, but Burke County, you know, it was a blessing and a curse because I tell people all the time, and you know this, Chris, from being down there, Burke County is a place when it's good, it's great, but when it's bad, it's bad. So,
yeah.
You know.
And it was great when we were there. And then, you know, it was your first head coaching job. Then after you left there, didn't you go to Wayne?
Yeah, I went to Wayne with Darryl Jones. You know, Darryl was head coach at Griffin. We knew of each other, didn't really know each other, and I was his defense coordinator at Wayne for 1 year. We had an awesome time. And Wayne is one of those special places, too. And I just remember the difference in Burke and Wayne. On Mondays after the game in Wayne County, we all had to go to the touchdown club meeting. And, you know, the defense didn't play very well. You know, I had to get up and answer questions why we didn't play well or what was the issue. And, of course, and Darryl had to do that as well as the head coach. And we'll go back to the school and finish grade, you know, practice and stuff like that. But, you know, people love football down there. It was a different small town. Really didn't have much to do. We was on a routine, man, and you know we were young parents at the time. We had my oldest daughter, Alexis, and Melissa was pregnant with my youngest daughter, Jalen. And man, we just had a routine, you know, during the season. You know, it is what it is. But in the off season,
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
And Friday, that bell rings. I'm up out of there. We go pick up Alexis. And we would go to the local Walmart, the Chinese restaurant, Video Warehouse, Dairy Queen to get some blizzards and go to the house. That was every Friday. That was our routine. But we loved every minute of it, man. And actually, when I told them, listen, we're going to be leaving after 1 year, man, she cried like a baby, man. She, because those people, they really treated us really well. And we really enjoyed our time there. But, you know, I had another opportunity to become the head coach again. And Darren knew that's what my goal was. And we ended up moving up here to be close to my family and in the metro area.
So when you leave Wayne, you head back to Atlanta, and you took the head coaching job at Columbia?
Yeah. So this is an interesting story. So Steve Pardue, was at LaGrange at the time. Steve Pardue, and I can't think of his name right now, the AD at the time, county AD in the county, was really good friends. So he's looking for somebody to come to the CAB to run these programs. So, and then minority coach. So Pardue called me. I said, yeah, man, I'll be interested in speaking with him. And so they had two openings, Columbia and Cedar Grove. Well, I had film on Cedar Grove, and that's when they had, what's the guy named Mitchell, the big lineman that played with the Chargers. They had all those cats, and I'm like, God almighty. So I called Frank, and he got Cam. I'm like, listen, man, I'll find us a spot. You know, we can go up here and get it cooking. Because here's the thing you didn't understand at the time. We would always wonder why, like Stevenson High School, these places in the metro had all this talent. And if you didn't know, and you're in the South Georgia, with all these resources and all this, you see them like, man, these guys can't coach. Well, so I come up, I interviewed for both jobs, and I wanted Cedar Grove. But Ray Bonner had already been at Columbia a while back. So they put him at Cedar Grove, offered me the Columbia job. So I was like, all right, it'll still get me close to the house. So I took the Columbia job. Still had Frank on board. Henry Hankson, who was assistant president of Burke County now. You probably remember Hank, that was Burke. Them guys, you know, that know me, know my system. Well, the jobs that they said was going to be available wasn't available. So this is my first time being introduced to things in the way they work in Metro. And the funniest story, Chris, is we have a parent meeting on a Tuesday night. And I'm up there talking about the vision of the program. I'm going to do things, and I ask a question. And the parent raises a hand, and she's like, Coach, how much of the spirit packs? And I'm like, excuse me? How much of the spirit? I didn't have a clue what she was talking about. I said, what is a spirit pack? She said, you know, the T-shirt, shorts, and all that. I said, no, we take care of all that because I'm coming from Burke County, Wayne County. I just pick up the phone. So I need 100 T-shirts, 100 shorts, these the shoes I need, these the sizes, girdles. So I didn't even have a clue to what a spirit pack was. And the principal, man, she jumped up quick. She said, well, God, Coach Davis knew the CAB Hopkins down up here. We'll get back with you on that. And I'm looking at her like, what the hell is going on? And so the same lady, she raised her hand and said, Coach, I said, yes, ma'am. Well, we got to get these fish fryers, these car washes set up to raise their money. I said, I ain't washing no damn car. Hey, man, 2 weeks later, we had two car washes going on at the same time. One on Moreland Avenue and one on Panola Road. And I'm sitting there like, this is unbelievable.
Got spoiled down in South Georgia.
You got spoiled, and here's the final straw was, man, they told me they was gonna pay for the sub. So my prospect Wayne called me. I'm up there doing spring practice, and he's like, "Listen, we ain't heard that from the cab. You know, they finna start docking your pay." You know, so no, I can't afford it. I was finna have another baby. We finna move up. I said, "I'll be back tomorrow." So man, as I'm leaving, I leave practice right then and just tell the coaches, "Listen, man, y'all got it. Here's the practice plan. Just keep doing what we've been doing. I'm out of here. I gotta go back to work." And on the way home, Butler High School came open in Augusta. And I still had a house in Augusta, right there off of Mossy Company in Helpsville. And the county AD called me, asked me what I considered. And I said, "Man, let me call you back." And talking like, I called Melissa, like, change your plan. We ain't moving to the North Hill. We're going to go back, move back in our house in Augusta. And I'm going to be the head coach of Butler. And of course, one thing I'm going to say, I'm getting off track a little bit. And I tell young coaches all the time, make sure you marry the coach's wife if you don't do anything else. And Melissa, she was just like, "No, you don't promise those people, got them inside that Columbia and all that. No, we don't stick to the plan." And I'm like, "God dang, okay." So, man, I don't even tell people I did a year at Columbia. I did 9 months. And the people that are good, I don't let me, what I'm about to say, to discourage that. But Coach, first day of school, you got to think about it. When you know you leaving day one, that's a long time. That's a long time to be in a place. I lost 30 pounds and didn't work out a day. From August to October, I lost 30 pounds at Columbia High School, man.
Well, just the difference between all you know is South Georgia.
Right. Playing at Griffin, we ain't pay for no physical. We ain't pay for no T-shirts, sweatsuits and stuff. And then going to Georgia Southern, Georgia Southern a little bit different. Just because we didn't have a lot of resources at Georgia Southern at the time. But then, going to Burke County, man, you get spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Because Burke County, we had everything you could want, you know what I'm saying, that we knew of as a young staff. We weren't asking for much. I didn't know to ask for certain things at that time. But then coming to Metro, man, it was totally different. So it opened my eyes, and I had a newfound respect for the coaches that was coaching up here in Metro Atlanta. Even though there was a lot of talent, I had 5 assistants. I want to say 3 varsity slots and 2 JV supplements or something. It was crazy.
Yeah, having to compete with people.
Yeah, and you got to compete with, Camden, and you playing those people in the playoffs or whoever. Griffin, they got 10 to 12 coaches, supplements, so it was just crazy, man. And, not being from the area, everybody kind of, I was a triple option guy when I first started. And coming up here trying to convince guys to buy into that system, everybody called me the South Georgia guy, South Georgia boy. So it was just difficult, man. It was difficult.
So where did you go to after Columbia?
So when I left Columbia, I was linking back up with Lynn Rowe at Hiram. He was the head coach at Hiram. I was going to be his DC at Hiram. And this is crazy. Coach, we getting ready to start spring ball. Actually, we meet on a Sunday. I'm actually on the board going over defensive install. And also my phone rings. And I'm looking, I'm like, Terry Young. I said, Coach, can we take a break? I need to take. And Terry Young was assistant principal, Georgia Southern guy. He was at Riverdale. Hackney had just left Riverdale and took the job at, where did Hackney go? Osborne. Was it Osborne at the time? I want to say Osborne. So we on Sunday meeting, he called and said, "Listen, man, I need you to come meet with us on Monday. We can offer me this Riverdale job." So I go tell Roy, I said, "Listen, man, they want me to come talk to them." He was like, "Yeah, go talk to them." So I talked to him and the principal. Like, "Yeah, go talk to them." Not thinking I was going to take the job. But when I was in South Georgia, when I failed to mention, it was 2 jobs I said I would come to Metro Atlanta for. That was Riverdale and Westlake. Because I felt like those places at the time, you could really win, but also have a little support. You know what I'm saying? So I go meet with Terry and them on Dr. Young on Monday. Dr. Duncan was the principal at the time. She offered me the job. Coach, I go to Columbia, hire Bull Jones. Me and Bull Jones shared an office at Columbia. Brought him over on Tuesday to meet with them. Hired him. Met with the makeshift staff that was running things at Riverdale on Wednesday. They had a parent meeting on Thursday. Outfitted players on Friday. Started spring practice on Monday.
Whirlwind.
Yeah, whirlwind. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. So went to Riverdale. Was there for 2 years. I mean, Coach Hackman had done a good job, man. It wasn't hard work at all because he was wing T, I was option. So a lot of similarities, a lot of rules, just different terminology. And I was able to hire Emmett Jordan, longtime defense coordinator with C. Wright at Northeast and Southwest Macon. And I was a 4-3 guy. He was a 4-3 guy. So that was a quick fix there, man. He took the defense, and we went to work, man, and just built off of what Coach Hackman had already started. And I want to say we went 6-5 the first year. Lost the Stars Mill in the first round of playoffs. And year 2, we went 8-4. And lost in the playoffs to Valdosta, I want to say. And then I got an opportunity. We were the only school in the county that made the playoffs that year. And it was I'll never forget, we got a playoff check for $6,000. And the county AD came to the school and took the check. And I'm like, listen, man, everybody's eating off of us. I'm the only head coach working in the county. And everybody get a piece of this. So that was really disheartening, man. And our practice field was terrible. My wife still don't know to this day. I'm gonna lower my voice because she's in another room. I was taking about $500-600 out of our budget, which we really didn't have, buying topsoil and all that stuff to try to take care of the field so we wouldn't break ankles and all that stuff every year. So it was very frustrating. And I was like, listen, just give me an irrigation system. $2,500. I'm talking about just something basic. And man, they drug their feet on it. Shiloh High School came open at the time. And Ed Shaddix, who's a good friend with Terry Luster that played with us at Georgia Southern, and Shaddix went to Georgia Southern, called me about coming to Shiloh. And I went and interviewed with them. And I really loved Riverdale. It was very hurt, man. And I banked out. And then the principal left, Shaddix left. And Dr. Tatum, new principal, female, she called and said, Coach, would you come back and meet with me? I said, no, I turned her down. She called me again, just come talk with me. And man, when I tell you I went and met with her and her vision for what she wanted, it just resonated. And really, I took that job out of spite because I was so disheartened with Clayton County at the time, man, because we put in all that work and I just couldn't wrap my mind around us going to earn $6,000 in a playoff game. And then I got to spend it with guys who had coached in 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was just tough to wrap my head. So I really didn't want to leave. I left out of spite. And it may have been one of the worst mistakes I made because I really feel we left Bull Jones ended up taking over after. But we left a state championship team. We would have had a shot to make a real run for it the next year because the year I left, we was like ranked 4th in the state at one time in the top 10. But we had a lot coming back. Cordy Glenn was going to be a sophomore at the time. And, we just had a lot of moving parts in Clayton County. At that time, that really benefited us a lot of talent.
Well, how long did you stay at Shiloh?
2 years. So I was at Shiloh, man, working my butt out, driving 45 minutes to an hour. And I tell you what Shiloh taught me. Facilities are nice. Best facilities I ever had at that time. But you can't win ball games with facilities.
Looking for excitement? Chumba Casino is here. Play anytime, play anywhere. Play on the train, play at the store, play at home, play when you're bored. Play today for your chance to win and get daily bonuses when you log in. So what are you waiting for? Don't delay. Chumba Casino is free to play.
Experience social gameplay like never before. Go to Chumba Casino right now to play hundreds of games, including online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Live the Chumba life at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You got to have some people inside those facilities. But we had weight room, 5,000-6,000 square foot weight room at the time. Field house. I never had a field house. Never had my own office like that. Conference room, projectors. I mean, we had it all and we were still on the low end of Gwinnett County standards. You know what I'm saying? But it was the best I ever seen. But it just Shiloh was good. The administration was great. It was just different. It wasn't what I was used to. I was a fish out of water. And then the drive and the wear and tear. And, being a young head coach at the time, one thing I tell people all the time, you start messing around going Gwinnett, Cobb County, if you can't fundraise, you're in trouble. If you can't go out there and get that money, you're going to struggle. And that's why I struggled. We didn't have a successful program. And I say we struggled. We were budgeting off of $80,000 in Charlotte. But you see me talking to Peachtree Red, them people operating off $300,000. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And at Riverdale, I'm working off 20-something thousand. So 80,000 was off the chain to me. But that ain't nothing. That was peanuts in Gwinnett County. So I spent all my time shaking hands and in the community and trying to get sponsorships and all that stuff. And I tell you, my first year, Chris, I went into some games not really knowing our game plan because I spent all our money on that. Because when the regime changed, when the administration changed, the touchdown changed, I'm sitting over there taking over a program, which I didn't know. I was inexperienced at the time to ask certain questions. I took over a program that was $36,000 in the hole day one.
Ooh, wee.
So my first year was digging us out of that $36,000. And then we had a note on our weight room. I'll never forget it. We paid $2,056.36 every month on the weight room, the note through the touchdown club. So it really opened my eyes, man, and I have all the respect in the world for those guys that mastered that how to handle that situation. I think growing up in that situation, those guys, because they've been in those situations, they know how to handle a little bit more. But it was overwhelming for me coming from a place like Riverdale to Charlotte. And but my family was there. My wife's at the middle school. My girls was in school there. And my sister-in-law, she was the principal secretary. But we had a great time, man. Met a lot of great people. But count on that with the travel and everything. Chris, I would leave my home at 5:30, 5:45 on Friday morning. I would sleep in the field house because we met on Saturdays, and I would get home, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock on Saturday p.m. Because after we met, you got to go exchange. We met, had breakfast, go exchange the tapes, meet, watch film, break everything down. Then I had to go to GFL because I had to go watch our kids play. There's no middle school in Gwinnett, so you got Shiloh generals coming all the way up, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, and you got to go protect your kids.
Right.
But what made it difficult at Shiloh, South Gwinnett was successful. Grayson, Brookwood, Parkview. Stevenson was on the back side of us. And this when I knew I was in trouble. I ran into a young man at Stevenson, man, 10th grade. I'm like, man, you come play for me. Start right now. Nah, coach. I'll wait my time. I seen the year I started at Stevenson. I signed D1. And then my wife called me one day. She said, you need to come over here at lunch. I said, what you mean? Come across the street to the middle school. She said, you just need to come over here today. So I come over, Coach, I go stand in the cafeteria. See these two kids over here, South Gwinnett jerseys, these kids, Parkview jerseys. These kids, not Stevenson, Brookwood jerseys. I see more of those jerseys than a handful of mine. She said, baby, you ain't gonna win here because these people playing at these other parks. I mean, playing for these other teams and not your team. So it was just so awful, man, because you were surrounded. It's like you were suffocated with 5 to 6 really successful programs. It's like you never could get up out of that. So Clayton County lost accreditation. Like I said, I still tell people today, they ask me the best high school I've been at. And I tell them, I've been at some good places, but Riverdale was really something special. Because of the teachers, everybody was just locked in and they took care of those kids. Now, it was a rough place. It was really rough, but it just, everybody was 100% in, man.
They were Riverdale kids.
Yeah, exactly. But, so the opportunity came back. Dr. Young, he was the principal at Riverdale at the time. And that was in transition. He called me and said, man, let's go out to eat. And he was telling me why I need to come back. And all the time, I'm like, man, you ain't got to say, I mean, my heart been there. With him as the leader, I felt like we could kind of do some things, man. And I went back and was there for 3 years. And in 2 years I was gone, it was crazy. When I came back, it was like a whole new school. I'm like, where everybody at? They were like, I went to the middle school, and I'll never forget. I'm talking to kids, passing out program, and giving this packet to this one kid, and he give it to another kid. I said, why you didn't keep your packet? I'm not going to be here, coach. I'm like, where you going? Sandy Creek. Kid was Eric Swing. So right there at my middle school. And then I saw some other kid, coach, I'm going to Jonesboro. And I'm like, what's going on? I never lost kids when I first went to Riverdale.
Yeah.
So it was just eye-opening that it fell apart that quick. And so, man, I got down to the middle school, Riverdale Middle. We had a good 8th grade group and parent meeting, man. I said, hey, we're going to stick together. I'm going to play these guys young. We're going to take our lumps early. They're going to get beat up now. And Coach Ruben went 2-8 with that group the first year. Next year, back again, we were a little bit better. The last year, we were 7-4 or something, the junior year. And I'm like, man, we got a shot to make a run at this thing. We just kept that group together. And that's when I got the call to come home, to come to Spalding.
So you left Riverdale and went home to Griffin. Not to Griffin, but to Spalding County.
Yeah, which is in Griffin. When I came up, Spalding wasn't there. They opened Spalding up in 2000. And actually, I don't know how many people know this, Coach Jeff Cope, who's the principal, my baseball coach, he wanted Frank. And let me go back to my Shiloh days. So after year 1 at Shiloh, I get a call to come to Tucker. And I'm an idiot now. No, I'm not going to take the Tucker job. I'm going to make this work at Shiloh. Call Frank. So they called Frank. He went state championship, play for it, lose, come back and win it. And I'm sitting there going back to Shiloh the next year. And so I had to put that in there. But those fast forward, Frank is Jeff Cope wants Frank at Spalding, and Frank's not going to go if I don't go with him, which he knew he didn't stand a chance in Griffin without somebody from Griffin on his staff that people respect.
Right.
And he was also in on the Thompson job at the time. So that fell through. And then Jeff Cope, some guys that was younger coaches I played with at the time, who was coaching and assistant principals with Mr. Jeff Cope, like, listen, we're missing the boat on this thing. You stuck on Frank. Frank ain't coming unless Nick come with him. So what we just offered the job? What you just offered the job to Nick? So I'm at Lovejoy at a wrestling meeting. He called, offered me the job just like that. I go down and meet with him on a Sunday or something over the weekend. And taking the job, man. I was there for 8 years. It was a really tough job. Griffin was super loaded. Everybody in the county was going to Griffin at the time. So it was a tough fight. And, we waited the storm, man, and ended up against the kids. And, you know, it became a point where it was okay to go to Spalding, you know. And, you know, we got into the stuff with the crew stuff with Griffin and Spalding, and everybody knows the situation that happened, unfortunately happened with Debo. But, you know, at the time, man, Griffin just had a hold on everybody. And, you know, like I told them, y'all getting mad at me for what y'all taught me when I played at Griffin. I don't back down from nothing. And, but it was a tough situation, man, because I dealt with a lot of people that I grew up with, you know, played ball with, people that slept at my house, ate at my table, I slept at their house, ate at their table, who turned on me just because I was at the school across the street, down the street. So it was really different and difficult for, you know, not only me, but for my family, my mom, and, you know, my kids going to school. And, you know, it was a difficult time, Chris. It was a hard time, man. And I'll tell you, I lost a lot of love for my alma mater during that time. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, we ended up working out in our favor. We ended up flipping Spalding, having some success right there on the back end of that thing, man. And I felt like I kind of was stagnant, got complacent. And, you know, I've always been one that kind of took tough jobs. You know, if somebody said you can't win there, stuff like that, that kind of motivated me, man. And we played Fayette County, and Mike Davis was the head coach, and we were talking, you know, before the game, and he was like, Coach, man, I wish I could get my kids to play like your kids. I said, Coach, you got to practice that way. And he said, man, if I try to do that, these parents will go crazy. I said, Coach, this your program. You run how you see fit. And after that, man, when the job came open and I got a call that there was some interest, I was like, yeah, here we go. You know, this is another challenge for me. And so I took it on, man. And, you know, it was tough because it was a culture shock. We could have been a lot better our first year, but it was a culture shock to the kids there, the parents. And you know me, I'm a listen, but I'm a no-nonsense type guy. I ain't going to be disrespectful, but we're going to do things a certain way.
One of the last of the horde.
There you go. So it was a culture shock for everybody. I think the administration, the parents, and my staff, because, you know, let me just say that, it was a culture shock, man. But year 2, we made the playoffs. Year 3, we were able to host region run up, host a first round game against North Oconee at home, and we should have probably had an opportunity to win. Then I lost my staff because my whole staff came with me to Fed outside of except for Grant Myers, who you're going to be talking to later on. And Grant wasn't coming. I told Grant, let me tell you something. You need to go work for somebody else. Because I became a head coach at an early age. The only thing I knew was how Mike Falula did things. The things that benefited Frank left and went to Camden. He saw the blueprint from Harry. So now you take that blueprint to Tucker and fit it as much as you can. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. So I know he was looking at me crazy. They probably thought I didn't want him to go. But really, I was just looking out for him because I know he wanted to be a head coach. And he needed to see things done a different way because my way was just one way of doing things and limited. And, you know, that's when he ended up going to Pickens with Chris and them guys up there. But like I said, you know, we lost. I lost both of my coordinators at Fed. A couple guys from Griffin that was driving over to pay, you know, nothing for assistant coaches. So they were losing money. So I lost the whole staff, man. And really the only person that was original with me is Mario Gilbert, who was my OC this past year. He was with me at Spalding. He was the only person in the fold because he was in the building. And Fayette County, man, it's a great place, great administration, great job, day job. It's tough, and it's a blessing and a curse as well because the education system is good and the pay is so good for teachers. You don't have many slots come available.
Right.
You know, so
nobody's leaving.
Nobody's leaving. Definitely not PE. And I don't know many chemistry teachers that.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. Another checkered flag for the books. Time to celebrate with Chumba. Jump in at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. See T&Cs. 21 plus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
Coach football that can really coach. So you rely on a lot of community guys. And we just cut the short end of the stick on that, man. And I'm one of those guys that I need to do a better job on interviewing. But if somebody I trust and know can go to bat for you, I'm real skeptical about putting people in my circle like that. So it's just one of those things that we had a very young team the last 2 years. And to be honest, and it's no knock to Fayette County is a basketball, fine art school trying to be good at football. And that makes it a tough situation, man. And Coach Solomon, he's taking over for me now moving forward, man. I wish him all the best. And hopefully he can get that thing figured out and get it turned around.
Well, changing gears a little bit, when was it that you and Franklin and Isaac and Tink decided to form the Minority Coaches Association of Georgia? I know you had a big part in forming that association.
A lot of people don't know the story. So me and Frank was talking, man, about doing something in, I want to say 2007. We met, and actually the original meeting started in 2007 in Baldwin. Jesse Hicks hosted us in Baldwin, man, at Milledgefield. And it's myself, Frank, I think Brian Love, Ed Parker, Coach Coffee down in Camden County. We just Darius Dawson at Colquitt. We all just came together, met, man, and we had different things we talked about in meeting, and we stayed in the hotel, man, and certain people talked about different things. We had a couple of administrators come in, AD talk about the hiring process. We had somebody talk about investing in real estate. We just did the whole thing. We're like, man, we got to keep it going. Well, of course, we leave dispersed. Everybody get busy, and we drop the ball. So when I come to Spalding, me and Tink talking about it, and you ain't got to do nothing but just mention something to Tink, and he just takes off.
Yeah.
So Tink come with me in 2011, man, and we got to say, man, we got to get this thing back going. And with all his connections and the people I knew that originally got on it, man, we created a board and get the bylaws and all that stuff, and it just took off from there. Once Tink one of those guys where when he makes his mind up that he's going to do something, he's going to get it done. So, and it was all about just really, it started off saying minority, but it was for everybody. And, just trying to educate coaches, man, on how to interview. We had a coaches academy, clinics, stuff like that. But what I wanted to do, my whole main focus, and Tink agreed, because Tink started out in LaGrange, from LaGrange, places like that. And then we all came to Metro. And we like, these Metro coaches don't know what's going on in South Georgia.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you right now, man, people may not like, you coach in Metro Atlanta, you work 10 times harder than you do in South Georgia because of resources and one-horse town situation. And I can speak on that because I've been there.
Right.
I work harder up here than I ever worked at Burke County or Wayne County. It ain't even close. So just educating those guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, y'all got to come together and go fight for more positions, man. If everybody come together, but over here, everybody want to be the head coach. So if I'm complaining, they trying to get rid of me, and they just going to give this job to a young guy because they don't really care about winning. They just want to fill a team. When in South Georgia, it's about winning. Coach, what do you need? You tell them what you need. They're going to give it to you. Now, if you don't get it done, you got to get up out of there. Metro is opposite. It's just about educating guys, man, and teaching them how to interview and, things to ask for, what not to say, what not to do. And just trying to educate coaches all along, man. And then we start having those clinics and all these major head coaches coming through, saving and all those guys. Of course they're going to come. Because like you said earlier before we got over, where they going to come? The airport is here in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. where's the talent? Where's kids who are used to being away from home, more likely to leave home and go to California or Texas or what? Rural area kids, they ain't really all into that. They are now because of social media, because they can see it before they get there. It's like me, I'm in Griffin. UTEP recruited me. Worst thing they did was send me a media guide with tumbleweed on the front of it. Mexico, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking about country. I'm watching Gunslinger, and I'm like, man, this what's up. I'm good. So that's how it started, man. It really took off, and still doing some good things now, man. With it, but I think we're going to get ready to get back into a lot more of the professional development pieces. We have a coaching academy where even college coaches. We do a Zoom, and we have other college coaches. Myself, I run a Zoom. And you may have ADs from North Carolina, all over the place, getting guys ready on the collegiate level to interview for head jobs and coordinator jobs and things of that nature. And just the network part in general.
Right.
To be able to help guys. And, that's what I was telling you earlier. That's the thing that makes you successful what you're doing, because all the people you don't met with being, man across the salary and the job boards and all that stuff. When people looking for job information, you the first person come to mind, they gonna call. So
well, and y'all have always been good to me too. I mean, y'all have always taken me around and introduced me to people. And I joke around, and I said in one of the earlier podcasts I did, when I said, if Benjamin Mays comes open, I'm not applying for it. And I'll never forget, in 2005, Mays came open, and you and Glanton and Ike were like, hey, Lamb, you need to apply for this job. They'll hire a white guy. And I was like, what? I'm not about to go. I was like, it ain't about the kids. I ain't worried about the kids. It's the adults that you got to deal with.
Yeah.
The kids don't care. You love on the kids, they could care less. It's the grown folks you got to deal with.
Yeah. Kids want love, kids want discipline, man. They want somebody to know somebody care, and they want discipline.
They don't care if you're green with pink polka dots. If you love on them. I remember you told me at Burke County one time, your ideal place had a good mix of kids. Because that's what you're going to see out in the world.
Yep.
And I remember you telling me that. I remember you telling me, Jonathan Broxton, for those of you out there who don't know, he never played a down of football at Burke County High School. Right. When I got there, he was a 10th grader. He was 6'5", 310 pounds, the biggest, baddest thing there, and wore a size shoe that was bigger than his actual age. And I helped coach baseball, and Coach Davis said, Chris, just tell him, I just want him to get off the bus first. And I don't know if you remember this, but his mama didn't want him to play football because she was afraid he'd get hurt.
Right.
And he was the biggest thing other than Mercedes Hamilton walking around that place.
Yeah. And you had luck, Chris. I don't even know you this part. He took my weight training class his senior year, and I said, man, let me teach you the power play. And, man, we worked on his hips, man. And the first game, it's February. I mean, it's cold. And all the baseball team scouts are there. And I never get his first pitch. Bam! 96. You can hear a mid popping. I was a track, I was still coaching track. But he tried to play his senior year because we built a relationship through weight training.
Right.
And, man, I said, listen, he was a hell of a long snapper. And I ordered him a size 18 cleat. And he was long snapping. Then I turned around. He down there with the old line with Frank. Frank don't care now. So I'm like, what are y'all doing? He said, Coach, I can help us on the O-line. And I had to call his dad. Dad was upset too. And I'm like, John, you're not going to play for me. You're either going to loan. I said, son, next June, you will sign a check, a contract for more money than I would ever think about making. And I just thought about it. I said, man, if this kid come out here and tear ACL or shoulder or something, I won't be able to live this down. And then he didn't like it, but I didn't let him play.
Yeah. But I mean, we just had those kids. There was some hard-nosed. I mean, and that's another thing that's so different about South Georgia and Metro, because I was at Lithia Springs with Isaac, and it's very Metro now, but it was just kind of on the outskirts when I was there.
Yeah.
But, you know, Burke County, we ran buses at the end of practice to take them kids home because there were 4 different little communities that fed Burke County.
Right.
And it's a one schools. And like you said, if we wanted something, somebody took care of it. You know, you had sugar daddies or whatever. You called somebody and they paid for it. You didn't have to go wash cars. And it's just so much different. And I don't think South Georgia guys understand what Metro coaches, they're more fundraisers. Coaching ball is like the 3rd or 4th most important thing they have to do all day.
Right. And that's what happened to me after this year, man. I just remember, you know, sitting there and getting a banquet stuff together in November, man. And I said, man, let me go ahead and flip the calendar over 2024, Chris. And I've been blessed. I ain't complaining. Out of 28 years, high school football, teaching and coaching, I've been a head coach 24 of those years. So I've been blessed. But, man, I sat back in my chair and I was just like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. I want to get back to enjoying coaching football. I think I got hit with all the administrative stuff, man. Just all the stuff that, you know, that you have to deal with as a head coach. And that's the part some of these guys, and, you know, I want guys to go for being a head coach. They look at the play calling and being in charge. I can run my offense and my defense. But I don't know if they fully understand what all comes with that. And when they get it, they're not ready for it.
Right.
Because like I tell my staff all the time, I said, I'm going to tell you that one time now. You're the head coach of your position, but understand, my phone is the only phone that rings late at night. Take care of me and I'll take care of you. So y'all leave out this door and go home and get in your truck or car. You're not worried about Fayette County football or Burke County football to the next day. That don't stop. I'm just like the principal. Our phone never ceased to stop ringing. I had a parent at Riverdale one time, man, single parent, called me at 11:30, and we had mat drills at 6 o'clock the next morning, cussing and fussing because this joker didn't take the trash out. And I'm like, are you serious? And I told her, I said, no, I'm going to get him tomorrow now. When I get him, don't you call me crying. And Coach, you know how I do. I got him. And he throwing up and all that. She called me crying. I said, I tell you what, I bet when y'all get home, you take that trash out. And which he did, you know, so you got to be careful. But
yeah, if you want me to deal with it, I'll deal with it.
Yeah. So she called me 11:30. I'm sound asleep. We got mat drills. And you call me waking me up out of my sleep by some trash. You know, but it's part of it, man.
Oh, yeah, it's what we deal with. And it's been, 28 years. You get to spend the last 2, get back to doing what you love. And, it's like, I wouldn't mind going back to being just a 9th grade OL coach.
Yes, sir.
Have fun with them guys.
Build a relationship with those kids and they have fun and enjoy it. So that's what I'm hoping, the next phase is for me, going to Lovejoy, helping Coach Carson, a good friend of mine, and getting back in the weight room, man. I've been in ISS the last 5 years and, getting to be a relationship not only just with the football players, with, the other student body, so.
Well, that's great, man. I'm glad you're getting to get back to doing what you love. I mean, not that you didn't love what you were doing, but, maybe recharge your batteries a little bit. And like you said, who knows, in 2 years, maybe you'll be ready to sit back in the big chair again.
Yeah.
You got your health. Your girls are grown. You can't just sit around the house. Melissa ain't going to let you just sit around the house.
Hey, man, I ain't going to sit around the house. Because, I don't even run my house, man. We got 2 dogs. They run the house. So. Get outside, man. So we'll figure it out, man. We'll figure it out.
Well, man, I appreciate you being on with me. I hope you know how much your friendship means to me, how much I appreciate everything you've done for me over the years. And I appreciate you coming on, and hopefully we'll get you back on again.
Hey, anytime, Chris, man. I appreciate you coming and asking me to be a part of it, man.
All right, thank you.
All right, take care.
Hey, it's Bubba Wallace from 2311 Racing. You know what feels like forever? Sitting on a plane waiting for takeoff. Good thing I've got Chumba Casino. With daily boost and social casino games on tap, this is the kind of fun that makes time fly. Why not turbocharge your downtime? Play now at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
If you work in university maintenance, Granger considers you an MVP because your playbook ensures your arena is always ready for tip-off. And Granger is your trusted partner, offering the products you need all in one place, from HVAC and plumbing supplies to lighting and more. And all delivered with plenty of time left on the clock, so your team always gets the win. Call 1-800-GRANGER, visit Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.